Hi everyone, welcome to the tutorial on using the formula field with the custom shape layer. So this is going to show you how you can basically populate a column that you create using a formula field or a calculator to create values. So the first thing you want to do is have a shapefile loaded. You can either create your own or load a pre-existing one. So for this tutorial we're going to go in here and add the Dune database. You can just type in Dune, click this one, and you'll see it's loading. And then we're going to double click this layer. You'll notice all of these different columns that we have. You can even right click and say manage columns if you want to take some off or add additional ones. So now we're going to go to feature, edit columns. And this is where you have to pay attention to. So for your name, we're just going to do tutorial test. For the name, you can have spaces in it, numbers, dashes, etc. And so you put in your name and you pick a type. Now this part's important because the type has to match whatever column you're doing the calculation on. So for instance, we're going to be working with longitude values. So we want to make sure we're not going to pick an integer, we're going to pick a real number. We're going to say add column. You can see that column gets added. Now the next part, you're going to click and say formula field. And then the expression type is going to be real number because we want it to match our first type. Press OK, and you should see all of this show up on your screen. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to point out these question marks next to all of these values in this keyboard. These icons are here to help you work through the formula field and how to work on things or use things. So for instance, if you click keyboard shortcuts, it'll show you all the shortcuts that are available for editing and creating a formula field. If you go to insert columns, this gives you some insight and tips and tricks on how to look for different things. The available features under formula gives lots of information. And then formula help also helps you with the formula editor. And there's one more next to this window. If you click it, it just shows you that these are your helpful tips. I suggest you read all of these and go through them. They're all very helpful. So for the insert column, we're going to start typing lon because we're going to work with longitude. And we're going to click longitude. And you can see it added it to our formula field. And down in the result preview, you can see that it shows you the value in the very first row so that you can kind of see what's going on. Is this right? Is this what I want to see? And then as you build your formula, it'll show you what the outcome is so you can kind of see if that's right. The warnings tab is also important. It can give you some insight on why things aren't working. So say our longitudes are all right, except we need to shift them by 1. So right now you'll notice that the very first longitude is 0.97. And we're going to say lon plus 1. And now you can see the result says 1.97. So we're going to say update all rows. And then you want to make sure you have update all rows and then update features. So we're going to click this. And now we're going to look for our column that we just created called tutorial test. And there it is. And you can see that a new row was inserted for every single shape we have. And it is one value more than the longitude value. So that's it. That's a really short explanation of how to create a column using the formula field. Thanks for joining me.